This is the journey to One Africa.
I think there might be some influence about United States and France on this genre. There might be some influence, but I will add that, you know, the situation in Niger, in Burkina Faso, and in Mali is not the same situation than in our country. Like Mali and Burkina Faso, they were facing also problem about terrorism, like, and they were seeing the French militaries like trying. They were supposed to fight against terrorism, right? But they were not seeing any improvement about that. So that was also one of the reason of them protesting about France and saying that, oh no, enough is enough. I think you are not doing anything about terrorists. Maybe you are behind it, and because of that, we don't need you. We don't want to deal with you anymore. So you have to get out of our country. So I think the situation of my country is not the same situation. Like in Gabon, we have other problem, and the main problem in Gabon is about governance. Like the country is really rich, but the money have been used in really bad way just to satisfy some person in the country. Like, so the first thing in my opinion for Gabon is to solve that problem about governance, to start using the money we have now for our people, and then maybe later deal with the problem we have with France and United States. Because, you know, even the opponent of Ali Bongo, the one who actually won the presidential election, he said something that he said that, oh yeah, people are thinking about like getting rid of French military, saying that, oh, France has been dominating us, they need to get out of our country. But we are just a country of 2 million people, and we don't have a lot of military. We don't have the only, like, for now, the only cooperation we have with a country to protect ourselves is France, and also through France, United States. So I think for us, we are not ready. We are not ready to get rid of this relationship. We need at first to solve the problem of governance in our country. And then after that, when our people mind will grow enough to realize that, oh, we can get more about it. Our country can be more prosperous. We can improve our economy by getting, for example, the money we are giving to France when they are making our money, which is franc CFA. So you know surely that France get half of our money for making our money. So those are really great issues that people have in mind, but they say that for now, that's not the problem. We need to build our country. We need to use properly the money we have. And then when our people mind will grow properly, when we will solve the basic problem, like people getting water, people eating properly, and also getting the basic infrastructure in the country, then after solving this problem, we can attack the other problem about France and United States influence on our country. Yeah, that's what,
you know, that's the issue that I have with. That's the issue that I have with this, because I don't believe that our governments and our country can be prosperous with them inside our country. I don't believe that, because that's the same thing we have been trying to do for the past 60 years after our independence, right? Yeah. So just the fact that you know, France are still there, America's influence is still there, I believe that it's gonna be impossible to make the lives of our people better. Because, you know, you forget about the case of Gabon, but you can think about the case of other African countries. You know, we've been having them in our countries, but nothing has been changed. The situation in our countries are worse, actually. I was reading a book. I'm reading a book these days called Africa, Magufuli and Change. And in one thing it says this, that actually Africa, when we were gaining our independence, you know, we were actually better economically than a lot of countries like you know, East Asian country and other Asian country like South Korea and others who are really good economically, our GDP and everything. We're better than them. But imagine that was when we were gaining independence, but 60 years plus later, Africa is going downward, downfall. And those countries, they went all the way to high. I mean, you know, South Korea, where they are, you cannot compare with any country in Africa. Definitely. So you're asking yourself that, okay, we used to be there, but why are we going backward? Because you can talk about the concept of neocolonialism. What is there, right? What has been there for all this time? And it hasn't been really making things better in Africa, but it has been making things worse in Africa. I don't care about the relationship, whether it's Americans, France, or Russians, or Chinese. Whatever relationship it is, it's the same agenda, right? That they want to take everything away from Africa. So in the case of Gabon, and I know the mindset of the people, because if we have been through this kind of like bad regime for over, you know, almost 50 years, actually, you know, having the new regime right now is the you know, breath, is the taking breath, you know, taking a moment and relax a little bit, be like, oh, okay, now at least we can leave. So it's like, okay, we don't have option, but anything that is a little bit good than bongo, it's good. We're gonna embrace it, right? But I believe this is not the standard that we should settle in, because as long as France and the US still have influence in our countries, I don't believe that we are going to see the change, because we don't have any example of that. Like, I'm only saying that not because I'm trying to be skeptical, but because we don't have the tangible example that, okay, this is what happened in this country and this is what we don't have that. In all the cases, we just have chaos after chaos after chaos. So I am afraid that the liberation and that we want in our countries or in Gabon, I'm afraid that, yes, maybe we've made one step, you know, to replace someone else with someone else, but we haven't really dealt with the issue. We're not really dealing with the problem, with the source of what is there, because nobody can disagree that the source of our issues in Africa is the system. The system that were implemented by them 500 years ago is still there, because they're still here. So even when we change the leadership and we bring somebody who is good, who is charismatic, and who can do something better, but if we don't change the system, if we don't try to touch the system, then this leadership, it's just a matter of time to be corrupted, because the system is still the same. So I can give you a break for 1 year or a few months to settle down, but the system is still the same system. Nothing has really changed. Like, it's just a matter of time for us to find out that, oh my goodness, this is still the same thing. Oh my God! All right, you know. But I believe, yes, it's one step towards a change, but in another way, I don't think if we have made a real progress in this. You know, I want to know what you think about that.
Yeah, for me, I think it can look like a really insignificant step, but for us as Gabonese people, we really consider it as a great step toward our freedom, our total freedom, I mean. So I was talking to you about the case of Burkina Faso. You know, there was a military coup, a first military coup in Burkina Faso to get rid of Blaise Compaoré, the one who killed Thomas Sankara, or at least who organized, according to many historians, that the one who organized the killing of Thomas Sankara. So you know there was a first military coup, and a president came up. So, and we could see that that president was still under the influence of France and United States, whatever. But after that, we can see that the people mind was still growing, and after that military coup, 2 other military coups happened, and you can see that Burkina Faso is now really moving to something, a true freedom, a kind of really true freedom. The people are experiencing there. They are moving, they are taking their destiny in hands, and they are moving forward. So I think that the situation in Gabon is a little bit similar. Like, we have this more step. Maybe that guy is still under France and United States influence, but at least we get rid of Bongo name, Bongo family, at least apart. And then I think that there are many activists in my country who are saying that this general, we know him for being in the previous system, and we are watching on him, and we will put a lot of pressure on him for him to stay on the right line. Like the Gabonese people are no more sleeping, like people are awake. I'm telling you, bro, people are awake and they are watching on him. And I think that time moving on, like things will change step by step. At least we want him to make a good transition, to take care of the basic needs of our people, and then we'll see next what we can do. And maybe like Burkina Faso, definitely change the system by getting rid of France. Yeah, that's what I say.
So what are the changes that he has already made in these couple of days that he came?
There are a lot, as you already said, there were a lot of arrestation, like people in the previous government. He has changed the government. He has designated a new prime minister, and now it took a lot of councillor from diverse part of the country, like people with really good moral. I'm telling you, like even my pastor, the pastor of my church back in Gabon, he has been designated as the counselor about education. So we saw in that this guy is at least looking for good people. He wants to change things in the education sector and in other many sectors in the country, and things are really moving. The passion about being Gabonese, like for us, for many Gabonese, bro, I'm telling you, we're almost ashamed to be Gabonese now. We could not say, oh yeah, before we were a little bit proud of being Gabonese, but the pride of being Gabonese is coming back again. And today our national team is going to play. Like the president talked to them, like, you have to win. You have to win. And people even made a joke about it. If you don't win, you will go to jail, because this president is putting everyone in jails. So that there is this spirit about the love of the country, and people are, we can see that in every administration, people are willing to work hard to develop every field of the country. That is things we can see now in my country.
And I'm definitely not going to take that away from you guys. You know, we as Africans, we're going to celebrate with you when you celebrate, and wish, you know, and pray and continue to hold accountable to see the change that our people deserve. But I want to add something else. You know, before this point, you said something that where we are, you were talking about that in this transition and everything, Gabon can not still stand by themselves, right? And you said the right thing. You said the right thing. But I think who to stand with Gabon should not be France or US, but it should be the rest of African continent. And that's why you know that our mission here is fighting for one Africa, because we do believe that for us, in order to get rid with these superpowers, these guys who are, I can't call them superpowers, to get rid of these thieves in Africa and exploiters in Africa, I think Africa has to come together. In the case of Gabon, yes, it's just 2 million people, but Gabon is Africa. In Africa, we have more than 1.3. Right now, it's actually 1.6 billion people in Africa. So if you have that, then there's a huge potential for Gabon to survive if our main focus is not going to be outsiders. I'll say the same thing about Mali or Burkina Faso, that if their focus is not going to be about Russia and China, but Africa, because that is the journey that Africa we must navigate. Like we should not. I see the wave of this excitement about, you know, us collaborating with China, us, you know, being with Russia, or right now, you know, we have African Union in G20. You know, I see all this, you know, hyper, and this, we're actually broadcasting live right now in our channel, but I see this, excitement, but excitement is not always good, because the excitement that we're supposed to have is for us as Africans collaborating with one another, us as Africans coming together as one another.
That's true.
Like, okay, Gabon, you're going through this transition. Okay, we are Africans. We're there to support. We make sure that you're stable. We make sure that you get rid of all these thieves that have been there stealing for a long time. We're here with you, right? We have seen what is happening in Niger, and we've seen how these other countries came together and be like, we're with you. But the only sad thing that I have with that region is about it's about the Russians. It's about the Chinese. In that region, and in so many parts of Africa. That's not the time for this, but it's the time for Africa to come together as one. It's the time for Africa to be like, okay, if you guys cannot do it, we're here. We're standing with you. And I think that is the same thing that I will ask right now in the entire continent of Africa. But the sad thing is that then when you have the body like African Union, they actually condemn the military taking And I saw PLO Lumumba actually warning them and be like, okay, you guys, before you make any statement of warning, make sure that you make statement about the, corruption, about the illegal leadership that is happening in Africa. Make comment about that, and then make comment about this, but not just on one side, right? Which it makes a perfect sense, right? Because we know what was going on in Gabon. So I don't know. What do you say about that? About the unity of Africa, and about that instead of looking the West and East, we have to look from the inside and try to bring our people together. And I think I'll be really happy if I see the new leadership in Gabon, emphasize on the unity of Africa. I haven't heard that yet, but I'm not surprised if I'm not going to hear that. Honestly, I'm not going to surprise because of what we have been talking here about the France and Americans. I'm not going to be surprised, but what would you say? Because I think if we have leaders like that, you've mentioned Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, we've seen how, passionate he is about, the unity of Africa, and in other countries as well. I'm not sure about Gabon, and what would you say about that?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same as you. Like, I think that as African, we need to be united first between us, and then maybe try to cooperate after with other nations. And I think we're already seeing it a little bit with Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, because we heard that Mali and Burkina Faso say that if any country in Africa try to attack Niger, they will declare war to those two countries. So that's already a sign of unity in Africa. But I think in order for us to be united, we need to be free. And I think those countries are really moving to their freedom, and that's why they can be united. But if you look at country around Gabon, like for us, we got that military coup. We are getting excited a little bit about that freedom. We are rebuilding a little bit our institution and our constitution. So, but the country around, you look at Equatorial Guinea, look at Cameroon, you look at Congo, they're still under like the influence. I will not say that we already get rid of influence of France, but at least we got that step. And for us also to be united with the other country, those people also need to get that step to their freedom. And I think it's really coming, because I don't know if you heard that, but the president of Cameroon, the same day when the military coup happened in Gabon, he changed the Ministry of Defense in Cameroon, like because he was really afraid. And the same thing happened in Rwanda, like he get rid of many generals because they are afraid. I think they are feeling it. They're feeling there's something happening. That's why I'm also enthusiastic about what is happening in my country. We did not make it totally, but at least we made a step. And those presidents, they are feeling it. They're feeling there's something happening. The Africans are waking up. They're waking up to take their country. And for me, I truly believe, deeply in my heart that maybe soon we'll heard in country around Gabon, and to also get that freedom, and that will allow us to be united. In order for us to be united, we need first to be free. Yeah. So
Well, let me ask everybody before we finish this session that if you guys are joining right now, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to join Patreon or membership to support the work we're doing in here. And also don't forget to sign the petition. We have a petition that is going on about One Africa right now. Please go ahead and sign this petition. The link is in the comment section. I just dropped right there. We need 100 million signatures of all Africans across the world to get this petition to our Africa heads of states, the African Union, and Pan-African Parliament. There's a lot of things that we mention in this petition down here. What do we want? For example, one, an independent organization, African Union, not to receive donations and aids from foreign powers and all the stuff. We want African states to actually give money to African Union and Africans to actually fund our own organization. Even if we say like every single month, every single Africa give $1, to this body in order to work for us. It's something that it's possible, and we can run organization by ourselves. The problem is not really, sometimes the problem is not even leadership. The problem is the system. Unless we change the system, then we cannot really see the change. You can change as many as president you can change many leaders as you can, but if it's still the same system, we are not going anywhere. The system that is here, it has been here for more than over 500 years, since 1471, even before that. So it's been here more than 150 years, for so long. For us to change that system, then we really need to shuffle Africa all the way from the inside. So there's a lot of suggestions in this petition. Before you sign, make sure you read it, you understand, because all of us, we actually touched in this petition, and sign it. And most importantly, share every single day. Share with somebody. We can actually double this number within a day if we share, if we sign. We share in our groups, we share everywhere. We have an English version, and also we have a French version. I'll send to you, my brother, as well, Isaac. You can share with your friends and everywhere all of this version. We need to have one Africa in our generation, and I don't see another way than us taking an action to sign something like that. So the link is in the comment section right here. Sign and share, sign and share, sign and share. Please go ahead and sign. It's very important. It's very important to get the Africa we want. So lastly, if you guys have any question, you can drop right now. I'm going to ask you a final question, and then we'll be ending this session, because in 30 minutes from now as well, guys, don't go nowhere, stay right there. All right, in 30 minutes we'll be having another conversation about Sudan. We know on Tuesday a lot of civilians have been killed, and there's been a war happening in Sudan for a while. I have somebody from Sudan here already ready for that conversation. And